Welcome to Surviving-ish, where we discuss those daily face palms and obviously the big meltdowns. I am joined by one of my favorite podcast friends, Ashley. Thank you so much for being with me. This show is brand new. It's my new little baby, and I had to reach out to you immediately.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so glad to be here with you, and congratulations on the new show.
Thanks. I know. I'm so excited. And we'll be talking more about ghost gossip here in just a bit. But I'm anxious. I want to know, what are you surviving-ish?
A blended family with 3 teenagers.
So I will tell you, that is new information to me. I didn't realize that you had children before Daniel, or both of you did?
We both had children before we got married. He has 2 and I have 1, and they are all the same age. We might as well have triplets.
Oh my gosh. So
how did you not know?
I don't know. I just thought that I love Daniel so much. I always joke with him and you about how like I'm just his number one fan. And I guess that in the narrative that I created is there was no life for you all before each other, because you all are just me,
Yes, we did not live before we met each other. Yes, now there's life.
Oh my gosh. So I have questions.
Ask away.
How long have you and Daniel been married?
We've been married, so we're about to celebrate our 3-year wedding anniversary. In January, we have been together 7 years.
Oh, wow. I don't know why I thought it was like 20 years.
It feels like 40. What we've been through, it feels like a lifetime, but it also feels like we just met yesterday.
Yeah.
So we met when we were 34.
Wow. So you both were married before?
We were.
Divorced. Mm-hmm. He had 2 kids. You had 1. Mm-hmm. But you all have custody of all 3 children, correct?
We do. We do. They all live with us the majority of the time.
Wow.
And they're currently, at the moment, they are 13, 13, and 14. And soon, both of my daughter is about to be 14. So we're about to have 2 14-year-olds and a 13-year-old. They all fall within 13 months of each other.
Wow. Have you all decided on what you're going to do when it comes time to buy cars when they turn? Is it still 16 years old when you can get your license?
In South Carolina, it's 15. So we'll have our first driver in February of next year, our second driver in November of next year. So we already have 1 car, and they will have to share it for a little while. There's no reason, because they are so close in age, they're all going to be in school together. They're all going to the same place. So for a while, they will all share one.
Right. You don't need your separate cars. Like, where the hell y'all going?
Exactly. Where are you going? And we live 1.5 miles from the school. You could technically walk.
I wouldn't, but yeah, I guess they could.
No, I wouldn't either. People crazy.
And I just keep thinking, how expensive having 3 children, period. But
you're making me cry. Don't make me cry. It's so expensive. And the thing is, what really kills me is I had a choice. I met this man who had Irish twins, and I thought, that's him. My daughter is right in the middle of his 2. That's the guy I'm going to choose right there. And I knew their birthdays, and yet here I am. I made that choice anyway. He's a good one. He's a good man.
He is. Like, you and I have had so many conversations about him. Sometimes when you and I are talking, he'll pop in and say hi, but I just adore him. I think, and what I love is he's got this silliness about him that sometimes you catch on camera. So to the listener, if you're not following Ashley on TikTok or any of the socials, I'll have all the links in the show notes. But every now and then he pops in, and you can tell you were just lucky enough to be around to push record, because this is all very natural. Like nothing is staged. Nothing is thought out.
Wow. You know what's funny is that our last one that he was in that got like 20 something thousand views, I told him what to do and he just did it. And I was like, if I would have done that, 30.
Yeah.
It's him. He's one of those people that can like act with his whole body and his face.
Uh,
You know what I mean?
but even with a little bit of direction, he still makes it his own.
Exactly.
It's not like he's reading a script where you raise your right arm. You know what I mean?
Right.
He still finds so when I say scripted, of course we come up with ideas because I mean you're a creator, you have a
Exactly.
podcaster, and he co-hosts with you on the podcast, correct?
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes.
When you don't need that escape from everybody, you'll let him pop in.
Yes. So I tried to because he has taken a new job role. Like he's in the same place he's been, but he took on a new role where he's traveling more. And so I'm trying to be aware of his schedule because by the time he gets home some days, he's been driving since 4 a.m. This is like the last thing that he wants to do after dinner and everything like that. So I tried to do at least one episode with him a month, and that's our history episodes because he loves history.
I remember that about him. Something that has started surviving ish is the fact that even if he's been on the road all day long, he is not always up for being filmed for my entertainment purposes. And
Yep.
I'm barely surviving that at this moment.
I know. I'm so sorry. It's tough for me too. It's one of those things like I want this now, and you just can't do it right now.
It's
And
like
it's
you've been at work for 12 hours. I've had 12 hours to figure out exactly what I need the next videos to be like. I need you to come in and just do as I say.
put on a happy face.
But
Yes.
we need to have, I want to have an episode with him one day. One of the things I'm wanting to do with the new show is to have roundtable discussions, especially when it's couples that, like, I had some friends of mine who had just spent like the past 2 months traveling in an RV.
Oh, wow.
And I cannot wait to
Tight
hear
quarters.
that they are surviving ish because you know. And
Oh.
I feel like I'm going to have some kind of mediator there, contracts in place that I'm not responsible for any because you know something's going to trigger one of them and be like, and then you did this. They're like, well,
And the other person probably has no clue. And they're going to be like, what? Oh, yeah.
this is, however, that makes me want to do it even more. So,
You need to do it. Yeah. Daniel and I will do it. The thing about me is you'll know exactly where you stand with me at all times. If it's here, it goes right out my mouth. And so he is very aware of all my grievances, usually right when they happen.
right. I hadn't even had time to grieve over it. You already know.
Hmm. That's
And
right.
by the time I get it out, I've already went through 3 stages of the emotions.
That's right. Exactly. Oh, yeah. By the time it's out, like I am on my way through
Yeah. So okay,
experiencing right then.
I want to ask you this.
Okay.
So when I was growing up, my parents are divorced. I've never known my mom and dad to be married. My dad and my stepmother got together, and she had Joey, who I think was like 7 at the time, 5 or 7, somewhere around there. And we always considered him our brother, but for the longest time, it was a stepbrother.
Hmm.
But now people aren't saying step anymore. Now they're saying like bonus. Like, where do you all stand with that?
It really depends on the day. We have a little bit of a different circumstance because of some issues that I can't really talk about publicly when it comes to how I have to address his children. To me, they are ours. We raise them 7 years. They live with me. I take care of them financially and always. But because of other factors, external factors, I try to be very aware of how my presence affects other people.
Yeah.
And I will leave that at that. But I know with the kids, I try to make sure the school is aware and other adults are aware I'm not the birth mom. You can look at me and tell I'm not their birth mother. These are blonde hair, blue eye kids, and I'm dark everywhere. So when it comes to how they address each other, it is brother and sister. This is my brother, this is my sister. However, if they're fighting, then that is not my brother. You are not my brother. But typically, because they've been together since they were 6, 7, 8 years old. They have known each other over half of their lives. And
Yeah,
so to them, they are siblings. Now, are they blood siblings? No, but they
sure.
treat each other like siblings. They have each other's backs.
And so that's kind of how it was in our house is we did not refer to our stepmother as mother. Even though my parents are divorced, we just happen to have my brother and I happen to have four amazing parents.
Yeah.
Both were remarried and they had healthy, lovely relationships. My parents lived in the same neighborhood. You know,
Hmm.
my mom and stepmom being in the same house together, having a glass of wine.
Yeah. That's how me and my ex husband are. We
Yeah.
do holidays together and birthdays
Yeah. Oh,
together.
yeah. Yeah. We had this conversation.
Mhm.
And so, I mean, we refer to our stepmom or stepdad, but as far as like Joey, he's our brother. And like my dad and my
Right.
stepmom, they've been divorced maybe 10 years now, but I was there when Joey's daughter was born. You know,
Yeah.
like we're still
You're
brothers.
still family. Yeah. So, one, my Daniel's daughter tells people I'm mom. I'm mom, you know. And then Daisy will tell people I have two dads. I have my birth dad and I have my stepdad, but essentially I have two dads. And he's remarried. My ex husband's remarried and he has a lovely wife. They've been together like over 10 years, almost 11. And she is who my daughter knows to be with her dad. And so she's like, I have two moms and two dads.
I wonder how many times she has said, "Yeah, both of my dads," or "I have two dads," and everyone pictures like these two
Uh-huh.
fabulous gay men. Like,
What's so funny is sometimes when they get together, if I'm not around and they're just interacting together with Daisy, it might look like that because they get along so well. Well, let me tell you. So last Halloween, my husband and I do couple costumes every single year. And so he was Gru and I was Lucy from Despicable Me. My ex husband found out about it through my daughter and he showed up as a minion. We had no idea. It was fabulous. And what made it even better is he bought the costume too small. So his backside was like hanging out. So he had to have a jacket tied around his waist the whole time. And then the year before, he came as a Tasmanian devil in one of those big inflatable costumes. And he couldn't see. So Daniel had to walk him around the neighborhood to make sure he didn't run into anything. It was precious.
I love that. And as far as August 30th, the day of this recording, we've not released any of these episodes yet. My goal is to have the release date of October, the first week of October,
Hmm.
which means by the time that this starts getting released, we may have an update on the Halloween costume idea, blended family costume idea that you all may have this year.
I know. Well, I told Daniel we need to go as David and Patrick from Schitt's Creek because I am David. But Daniel's like, Ashley. So I think we're going to opt for John and Moira.
Okay, can I go as
David, you can go as David. Come on.
my COVID mask said, "Ew, David."
I have a shirt that says, Ew, David.
You know what's so funny is that was the line that caught on with her, and she said it like twice in the entire series.
That's why I thought she said more.
Yeah,
Ew, David.
uh-huh. Isn't it crazy how just that one little line went all viral and everyone was like, "Ew,
Hmm.
David." Like my COVID said, "Ew, David." And one of the listeners of the show went through and tallied it, and it was like twice. She said,
I would have bet it was so much more because I guess because of the videos I've seen and all this other
uh-huh.
stuff, it sounded like she said it every episode.
I would think of it as that signature line that somehow that is going to be a part of every. That is one of the best freaking
It
shows.
is so good. Seriously, another ish for me is that we got together in 2019 and I think 2020 is when I started watching it. Maybe 2021. I can't really remember. I saw it on Instagram and I was like, this looks hysterical. And my friends were like, you have got to watch it. He refused to watch it with me. And so, like, I mean, he would not. We didn't live together for years. And he finally, when we moved into this house, and it was this year, he's like, I'll watch it. So he watched one episode, he was hooked. And when it was all done, He was so sad. He's like, "You've got to be kidding me. There's no more." I was like, "There's no more." And he's like, "There's no more? They can't, they gotta make more."
Did he not think it was his like genre? Like, does he like a different type of?
He likes, oh, it's so boring. He likes watching stuff that's like, there's a show on Netflix and it talks about another population of people way back when, like before the Egyptians and all that, like almost like the aliens built the pyramids, okay? And
Because he's
he,
a history buff guy.
yes, and he'll sit there and binge watch it. And I'm like asleep because you've lost me. It's like a forgotten, oh, I can't even remember. I slept through it. I can't even remember, but it is on Netflix. And he was so excited because they came out with a second season. I was like, there's more of that.
Uh, and so I like those, but I feel like they're completely stretched out. I feel like you could tell me if there's 12
Hmm.
episodes this season,
Wrap it up to three.
you can tell me everything in an hour.
Yeah. Why is this 12?
If you have to
Why?
do 3 episodes, I'm just going to hit and watch certain things until maybe I get an hour's worth in. Like,
Yeah, we tried. I tried because I was like, how about you do an episode about what you're watching on this? And it gives you the, trying to get him more involved in the show. And I mean, I had my notepad and I had my pencil and I was taking notes. And I was like, I can't do this. We watched one episode and I was like, I can't follow this. I'm going to lose people.
yeah, you're like, I see things just going downhill.
It's hard enough to be a podcaster, let alone when you go from talking about haunted stuff to all of a sudden forgotten populations of people who were the aliens and used UFOs to build the pyramids. Like,
However, if you wanted a second podcast, there are people that would eat that shit up.
yeah,
I don't. I would love and support him.
yes,
I
yes, like
would
and share.
admire him.
Do you know that he doesn't listen to my show? I'm tattling on him. I am tattling. He doesn't listen. And I'm like, so you don't like my stuff? You don't share my stuff? You don't watch my stuff? You don't listen to my podcast? But he did build me the studio.
It's like my ex didn't listen either, and I, for a day or two, was kind of like scratching my head with it, and then after that, I realized like this is my thing.
Yeah, that's where I got with it.
Allow me to have my thing. And there were a couple of times that we had talked about doing like roundtable discussions where he
Yeah,
would be a part of it with a few other people to discuss certain things. Most of it was because it was during like COVID time when this was happening, and he was a
right.
nurse. And
Oh,
so,
yeah,
so
yeah.
there's things, but he, like you said, with Daniel building your studio, like Cody made sure that I had the top of the line everything. He
Yeah,
never tried to interfere with anything. He talked about it to people and was like, "Oh, you like podcasts? You like true crime? You like this? Follow my."
exactly.
And so he allowed it to be mine, and just like I allowed gaming to be his. I didn't want to do anything games or Harry Potter or some of the TV shows that he liked. And so it was able to give us a bit of that. This is yours. This is mine, and we're keeping that individuality within our relationship. And so I ended up not getting too upset with it. But if he wasn't liking, sharing, commenting, forwarding, all those things, or making sure, if he didn't make sure that I had the top of the line equipment and all that, then there would be a problem.
Yes. Yeah, and that's kind of where I get like he supports me in other ways. He might not listen, he might not, do the he's not a big social media person, period.
Right.
Cuz I mean, you really don't see him on my stuff. Every once in a while he'll, come through, but he's that's not his thing. But he supports me and so like he'll record with me like once a month and he talks about it to people while he's like my wife has a paranormal podcast, go listen to it, here's her website, like so he's doing it in other ways. So and that's what I appreciate because that I mean it's just a different kind of support.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And everybody has a way to support us.
That's
My
right.
GoFundMe is in, I'm just kidding.
www.ghostgossipfundgo.com. Thank you.
Right. Okay, so before we get into ghost gossip, which I
Go.
want to give you what I'm surviving ish. And it happened to me again today. It happens on a regular basis. But there was a bit of a different feeling because I feel like this is the last time it's going to happen for me, at least for a season. So, my surviving ish listener is when, and I'm not trying to come for the women, but when women want to take cash out of their bra and pay for their
Oh,
gas, for their groceries, and you can see that it's dripping wet.
it's summer, y'all. Come on.
Uh-huh. And you're wanting to give it to the cashier, and that's gonna be the first thing that the cashier is gonna turn around and try to give to me if I use or paid with cash. And this is one of the reasons why I don't care if I have a $5 bill, I'm stopping at the machine and doing a deposit. Like I will not have cash. But today I was at the gas station and right in front of me, and she couldn't find it. So it was a bunch of digging.
She must have there must have been a lot.
There was a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna say because some of us. Well, I'm well, and you don't have to include that one, but I have stuff, but I don't have that much. If I'm gonna reach down there, I'm gonna find what I'm looking for. You know what I mean?
I mean, and it was one of the, like, cell phones were coming out, credit cards were coming out.
Probably car keys too.
I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure Black and Mild came out. Like, I swear. Yeah. Then, like, finally, after digging around, she found some money, and she was cute. She was sweet. I'm not saying that I hate you because of this, but I will probably not say that I love you. I will probably say that I tolerate you,
I'm
but
judging you.
I will not accept this.
I will admit, I was at a concert Tuesday and my lip gloss would not fit in my pocket because they do not make deep pockets on women's pants. It's so narrow. You can't fit shit in there. Can I cuss here? So sorry if I can't.
Yeah, no, you totally.
You can't fit anything in these pockets. And so I was in a tank top, so I slid my lip gloss just like right here. Now I didn't put it underneath my boob or anything. It was just right there because it was falling out of my pants.
But I still think that's different because,
I'm not handing it to anybody.
and if someone did use it, it's probably your daughter, right? Like someone that is close. It's not gonna be a stranger. You're not gonna let a stranger use your lip gloss.
Right. No, no, no. If that happened and be like, that is yours now. You keep
Right.
that.
You cannot use my mascara. You can't use my lip gloss.
Because you use somebody else's mascara, you're going to get a sty in your eye.
Yeah. And the minute you get pink eye, someone thinks that it's because of you don't clean yourself enough when because we all know what happens. And I'd be damned. I'd be damned.
Ugh, pink eye.
So that's kind of what I've been surviving. And then this week, and then, you know what? Fuck it, this summer. And then I got in the car and I was driving home and I was like, when I record with Ashley tonight, this is going to be my surviving ish. And then I got real excited. I was like, most of my podcasting journey, whether I've been a guest or a listener, or whether it's been a conversation that I've had, sometimes I go hard for men. Like sometimes I'm like, all right, guys, let's get our shit together.
Yeah.
You need a gay friend, call me. You need some help.
I am accepting gay friends.
Yeah,
I love them.
you have yours.
I know. I need you local. I need you closer. Like, we need to hang out.
Perfect. I know. I want to come to your new studio. I want to come hang out with you and
Come
record
on.
like face to face. That would be so fun.
Oh my God. We would not get anything done. It would be epic.
We would probably go viral.
Probably. That's what we're missing.
We'll do a TikTok live. Okay, I'm on my way. I do I do have some time coming up that I need to get rid of before I lose it. And you're just a few hours away. I love a good 4-day weekend.
You let me know. Let me know. I do have kids though. Just remember that. 3 teenagers. That's what started this whole conversation.
You have Daniel. This is kind of business. Like David's the big deal. Like he probably has 150 followers. And
That's right. No, if I told him that, he'd be like, come on, David.
I know, but you know what? I want him right with us. So maybe the kids, surely someone else likes them that can keep them for the weekend.
No, they're teenagers, David.
Oh, yeah, we're stuck with them.
They're rough.
We're a bunch of pizza. So.
Lots of pizza. Lots of shaking my finger. Don't do this or you lose that phone. 'Cause that phone,
Yes, threaten the phone
Change behavior instantly.
instantly. Oh, okay. So I was driving home and I was like, you know what? I kind of have to pat the men on the back for the first time because we don't put our money in our underwear.
Y'all have pockets,
Absolutely, we have
deep
pockets.
pockets.
But I was still a little surprised. I was like, we don't have the fear of losing because of pockets, things like that. And then as I was in my driveway, I remembered I've seen men put money in their socks and or shoe.
I was gonna say, you didn't remember that you put money in your underwear, did you?
Oh God, no. Could you imagine? God.
That'd have been funny, but like, then I remembered I had a 5
Yeah. Yeah.
in my
Then I
butt crack.
came home, I took off my clothes to get in the shower. All of a sudden some quarters fell out. And I was like, oh wait.
Whoops, my bad.
Yeah. So I thought there for a minute, I thought, you know what? Like, I'm gonna get to pat men on the back. And then I remembered.
Mm,
God, and the flash that came to me was when I live close to Dollywood. And so
Dollywood.
when a lot of us would go to Dollywood, like growing up, um, uncles and cousins, they would put valuables like money in their socks and shoe. So that way it didn't fall out of your pocket when you're going on an upside down roller coaster. And then I remembered and I was like, oh God, now I'm in a place where do I want the boob sweat or the feet sweat?
I'm good. I'm just gonna use my card.
You know what I mean? I'm like, could you just Venmo me?
You got Venmo. You got Cash App.
But what I do appreciate, and I'm wondering if you've ever seen this, there have been a couple of places, not necessarily corporate places. I feel like the places I've seen has been more like locally owned, but they will have a sign on their door that says, we will not accept sweaty money from your bra. Have you seen those?
I haven't. But next time you see one, I need you to text me because that's awesome.
I know. I know. And I'm like, that's the kind of business owner that I want to be. Like, I was having a conversation with someone earlier, and he was like, I wasn't a manager, but immediately when I was assaulted by a flying pickle, I was like, get the hell out of this restaurant. Do not come back. And he was like, then I realized I'm not the manager, but like, I don't care. I want to be the top. I want to own, this network and I want it to grow. And I really don't feel like we'll run into issues like that within the
Not flying pickles. No.
unless we're doing a live show and there's tomatoes being thrown.
True. Very good. Yeah,
But,
true.
but the story that he was sharing and things that I remembered being in the restaurant industry was how like the servers would unite and what there's very few times, but what stands out to me is when the owners or the top dog bosses were like, you will not treat my employee this way. Because one of my issues that I'm not going to go too crazy in on right now because it's going to be a whole full podcast episode on its own, but the customer is always right bullshit.
Oh, no, they're not.
They're not.
Nope, they're not always right. As a customer myself, I can honestly say I have been wrong before.
Well, and I can say that I've never been wrong, but but I never have to be proven wrong because I'm always nice and polite and courteous.
Yes, kindness goes a long way.
Yeah.
It goes a long way instead of being a jerk.
And so does an extra few bucks on the tip.
That's right. Take
I'm a
care of
good,
your servers, everybody.
take care of your fucking servers. So yeah, so that's my ish. Fun fact, and this kind of goes with the blended family thing, and so I probably should have said it before. So I'm still going to say it just because I think it's so interesting. But then we'll get into but here in America, I guess it would be like a bit of useless information to us. But I thought it was really interesting, so I'd like your thoughts on it because I was
Mhm.
thinking about blended families, and I have this little app, and you know how your phone listens to you. So it's like when I was like, oh, I've got 15 minutes, I want to like scroll through some junk media. The very first thing that pops up, I was like, the fuck is in Switzerland. It is illegal to only own one guinea pig because they are social creatures and they need a companion. I love that.
I love that too,
I love
but I don't want to own more than one guinea pig. I don't want to own one guinea. I don't need anything else to feed or clean up after, let
yeah,
alone two guinea pigs. I mean, of all the little rodent pet things, though, guinea pigs are amazing. They are really good
I
little
think
things.
one, like two, maybe isn't that much, but I appreciate the fact that
Hmm.
I want to be careful how I say this because I never want this to ever turn into a political thing. But when I hear these things in these countries that have something just so lovely of your pet needs a companion and
It's considerate.
so too, and the fact that like people got together and voted on this, and this was like a high big deal for them to make sure
Mhm.
makes me think they're doing something right.
Of all the things, though, like if you think about like how did that get on the ballot? Of all the things, which I love because I love animals, and I think that just like you, I think that's lovely. But
Yeah,
it's like, who was sitting there like, my guinea pig is so sad. This should be illegal.
and then made it happen.
Right. And then they went, I don't know what their, I don't know how laws are made in Switzerland, but whatever they had to do to get it passed, they did.
Yeah, I mean, like, were there protesters? Were there signs?
Were there petitions?
Yeah, like I have so many questions. But then, like, our minds go to that place because of where we are in our country with things. And some countries just go knock on the door and they're like, hey, come to find out, this high profile doctor did some research and guinea pigs, they need a friend. And they're like,
And
oh,
it's sad. And they're like, oh gosh, I can't have a sad guinea pig.
yeah.
You know what's so funny that you mentioned of all things guinea pigs? So you might not know this, but I've been working on my gifts, my spiritual gifts for the past few months. And one of my lessons, one of the things that I have to do is write down all my dreams. And about 3 weeks ago, I had a dream of a field of guinea pigs. Of all the things, guinea pigs. So many guinea pigs. And I couldn't make any sense of it until right now.
Which we're going to put a pin in that because I think that's going to also play a factor into when we start talking about.
Let's gossip.
But yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. And it reminded me of when I was younger, I was one of those kids. I would go to like the fair and I would win things and bring them home, like animals, and bring them home. And my mom knew I was going to take care of them for a day.
You're right.
My mom comes home from work and she goes into her bathroom and in her bathroom she had like one of the big like garden tubs.
Yeah.
So she goes, she sits down on the toilet to pee after work and probably cry like we all do.
Oh, yeah.
And she looked in the
Decompress.
bathtub and there was a little ducky swimming around in the garden tub because I want a duck. And so I brought the duck home. And fish galore.
Mm.
I would love to win fish. And so finally, I was able to talk my mom into letting me get a guinea pig. No joke. We got the big tank and all the things. We get one guinea pig because we didn't know they needed companions,
Who knew?
and the U.S. I guess doesn't have that law, and so
They
we have a
should.
guinea pig. We I'm actually working on that, but we go out to dinner after we get everything set up, and as we're coming back inside the house, like our garage came in through the kitchen, and
Yeah.
and we heard like god awful noises. The guinea pig was pregnant. We did not know this.
She made her own family.
We had her 4 hours, and we come home to a cage full of guinea pigs.
Your mother cried on the toilet that night.
She
Mhm.
cried on the toilet that night, and
Mhm.
now in the States there is a law passed. I'm just kidding.
Oh, support your guinea pigs, everybody.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I just thought it was so interesting. And it was just funny to me that it popped up when we were talking about blended families because, like, one of the questions I had with a guinea pig was, does it have to be a sibling? Apparently, it doesn't. You unite them, they're companions, like little gay penguins.
Oh, I love a penguin man.
I know. Ashley, tell
David.
us
Yes.
about ghost gossip. I love your show. I love what you do. Please tell us all about it and how it's connected to the blending of the family and all the things. Like you've been in so many different houses now. Like, tell us all about it.
Yes. So Daniel and I, like we talked about earlier, when we got together, we were single parents. We had our own houses. We had our own families, like two completely different lives that we had to combine. We literally had to combine this in our 30s and with essentially triplets. We call them our Irish triplets because they're so close in age.
Right.
And my house was 1,200 square foot. His house was 1,600 square foot. So it's not like we were rolling in money. So it's not like we could buy a bigger house with two other houses. We had to go through a process. So I sold my house first because it was smaller. So we went and we all moved in his house because it was 300, 400 square feet bigger. So that just made sense, right? We were on top of each other. The girls had to share a room. It was horrible. My daughter was the only child. His daughter was the only girl, and because he is a girl and a boy, and then I had a girl. So the girls had to share a room. Oh, it was so bad. We were on top of each other. Honestly, I thought they were going to kill each other at one point. They hated each other at that time because they went from having their own space to all of a sudden they were literally on bunk beds, in bunk beds. They had no space. And did I mention his house at one point only had one bathroom? And so there was 5 of us using one bathroom. And I told him, Daniel, you fix that other bathroom or I'm moving out next week. And he knew I was going to. Like I was like, I don't care if I have to go rent someplace. I cannot do this with 3 kids and a grown man. I need another toilet. I need another shower. I need another bathroom.
So I'm assuming this is the era where the kids were referring to each other as step siblings.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we weren't married at that point either. So it was just like that's my mom's boyfriend's kids, or that's my dad's girlfriend's kid. So this was in 2021. So we combined houses in 2021. We decided we were going to make it happen. And we could not, I'm not sure if you remember, 2021, the housing market went crazy. We could not find anywhere. The prices were astronomical. Daniel and I were both living check to check. Like it was like we needed a certain amount of space, but we couldn't pay $500,000 for it.
Right.
And South Carolina, like, at one point was really economical to live in. And then all of a sudden it wasn't anymore. And in December 2021, after looking for 8 months, living in a 1,600 square foot house for 8 months, the 5 of us on top of each other, we finally found this beautiful 5,500 square foot house. It was at the top of our budget, but it was within budget. And it had a basement, it had a loft, it had everything we needed. And I made an offer and they accepted it. And I about fell in the floor. Well, I did not know that that house was haunted, that it came with its own little resident, little Krabby Patty that was already there. I could tell when I walked into the house that the energy was kind of stagnant, I guess is the only way to put it. Like it had been vacant 4 years. We didn't know that it had sat vacant for 4 years. We didn't know anybody had died in there.
Aren't they supposed to?
No, not in South Carolina. Unless you ask, you do not have to disclose. And I wasn't going to ask. Like, to me, death is part of life. So people die in houses. They live there, they die there. You know what I mean? So unless there was a gruesome, grisly murder there, I had Googled the address and it didn't come up as a violent crime or anything.
So the person that passed there, it was like natural causes.
Maybe. He had allergic reaction to an injection. So he'd gotten sick and he had had surgery. I know a lot about this man, more than I should ever know. And I'm not going to say his name since I don't own the house anymore. I don't feel like it's right for me to say his name and all that stuff. But he had surgery. He did not respond well to the anesthesia. And so he was given a medicine to inject, which he turned out to also be allergic to. And that is actually how he passed away. He died of like asphyxia. So he was not very nice in life. And so in death, he was definitely not very nice. He did not like women. He did not like children. And he did not like animals. And then here I come, strong woman, me, who is very loud and outspoken and blah, 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 run my mouth all the time, with 3 children and 4 animals.
Right. Everything that he hates, here she is.
And then I went and took out some walls. And that is when activity blew up. And I thought it was just me experiencing it for a long time, but it turns out that a couple of our kids were experiencing things, just thought they were crazy. The first thing was we were never alone. You never felt alone. You always felt like you were being watched at all times. It was unsettling.
Do
And
you
then
want
the
to ask,
lights.
and I want to ask this
Mhm.
respectfully and appropriately, but obviously you and Daniel were a young, new
Mhm.
couple,
Yeah.
and you have children,
Mhm.
as well as yourself and Daniel, that would need private time in the bathroom. Did you find that there was at least boundaries with like when there was sexy time or bathroom
W-
time? Did you find
with
that?
the ghost? No. I had to set boundaries. Once I figured out it was haunted, I had to kick him out of my room. I had to kick him out of the bathroom. I had to set boundaries on a regular basis.
Like even during like he went in the bathroom when you were already dressed, just put on your makeup. He would be in the bathroom when you needed to pee.
Are you talking about my husband or are you talking about my ghost? Because I'm really confused.
Talking about the ghost.
Because my husband doesn't listen to my boundaries when it
I was
comes to
going to
me
say that
in
is
the
hilarious.
shower. That is his prime time viewing, right? No, but
Right.
my ghost, he would come into the bathroom and he would, so the way I see them when I know they're there, I see them in my mind's eye, is how you put it. Like you, I don't see them like you and I are looking at each other,
Right.
but I know they're there because I can like see them in my mind. I know exactly where they stand and I can feel them. At the time, I didn't realize that's what it was because I am growing into my gifts or going through an awakening, as they say. But I knew that when I was in my closet, he was like standing in the door. I knew when I was in my bedroom, he was always standing in the corner. And there were certain parts of the house I could always tell where he would be. And if he didn't like what I said or did, he would push me in my left leg. It was like he was swatting at me, like, stop it. The left side of my body would tingle. It was very strange. But yeah, I had to set boundaries. And once I learned how to set those boundaries, he would stay out of the bedroom. Because one thing with spirit is you have to set those intentions, you have to set that protection, you have to set those boundaries. Because when you're sensitive like I am, and they know that you know, they want to make sure that you know they're there and they will do what they can to get your attention. And that does not exclude during private moments. So, yeah.
That changes things for me. And I'm wondering how many embarrassing moments I have had ghost
Eh,
warriors.
I can't think about it because my grandparents stay with me a lot. So if I overthink that, it will really keep me from living my life. And I can't live like, okay, they're watching me all the time. Like, I just can't. I can't go there because
I
it will.
I hope that comment did not give probably mostly women a new excuse of I have a headache. Now their excuse will be, well, my grandmother's watching. I cannot do this tonight, baby. I'm so sorry.
Like, the ghost is in the corner. I have looked in the corner of my room before and said, you need to get out. And Daniel, he's so used to it right now. And he's just like, okay, you're not talking to me, right?
I believe in ghosts. I've seen a time or two. I definitely don't
Right.
have the gifts that you have with, communicating and all of that stuff. I'm open minded to it. I think I could explore it. And I would totally love to have that conversation with you. So maybe this is something that I've just told myself to give myself that peace of mind. But I feel like if you have a loved one with you, they would already respect boundaries versus when
Yes,
you have, okay.
exactly. My grandparents, I always say they always watch over me. They're always with me. That to me, I don't think they're just standing there like this
Yeah. If
nonstop.
you're sitting at the dining table waiting for you to come down and have breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
or they're visiting other family members, and the moment I need them, they're there. It's almost like a telephone. One of my friends, his name's Anthony, that's kind of how he explains it. Like he, if he goes to somebody's grave and he starts talking to them, it's like, oh, somebody's talking to me, and then they're present. I know my grandparents are always looking after me and they're always watching me, but that doesn't mean like literal standing there watching. But my house ghost was because he didn't want me there.
Well, and I can't speak for him, but I would like to, but I'm thinking that you've crossed his boundary. You moved inside
Yes.
his house.
Yes,
You were knocking down walls, and this is his home.
exactly. It took
So if
a
you're
long
in his
time.
and you're a guest in his home thinking you own it, shame on you. Your entitlement.
How
I'm gonna
dare
watch you
I?
be.
Yes. Oh, and see, and that's kind of where we got to. It took about a year of back and forth with him, and I thought it was crazy. I even went and got a CAT scan because I was so sick. He was making me so sick because they can affect you health wise. They can give you headaches. They can make you nauseous. I thought I was dying, and once I realized like it was nothing medical. I mean, I spent thousands of dollars getting tests run just to make sure I wasn't dying of something. I finally was like, dude, I love this house. I'm trying to take care of this house. We can coexist together. This is your room. Here's your bed. You stay here. You can linger, you can wander around the house, but you're not allowed in my kids' rooms. You're not allowed in my room. And you're not allowed to mess with me or scare us anymore. And stop keeping me awake. Stop standing over me while I sleep. Stop doing that. And then once he realized that we were taking care of the house and we were not trying to cause harm, we coexisted very well, but it was still his house. We never felt like it was our house. And when we bought this house where we are now, both my husband and I were like, wow, like we actually feel at home. Where for the past 2.5 years, we never felt like we were home. We felt like we were visiting somebody else's house. Yeah. And the house was exactly what we needed because every kid had their own space. Our son had his own bathroom, so he didn't have to share a bathroom with the girls. Like it was what we needed at the time, but what we found because it was so big, it almost split us up too much. But it was what we needed to become a blended family. And the ghost, not so much what we needed, but it added a little element of excitement and we learned how to laugh about it. And he almost became like a cranky grandpa in our house. Like things would happen and we're like, ah, that's just him.
Yeah.
But this house is smaller. This house is almost 2,000 square feet smaller. And now in this house, we have things happen all the time, but it's me. I am the magnet, but we're more of a family in this house. We have become a family of five. We're blended, yes, but now we are a family of five.
Does he visit you?
Yeah. So if I talk about him, while I was talking about him just now, he came through and my leg, my left leg, got like cold chills down my leg. So he's like coming in, like, you talking about me again? And then he left. He is not attached to anything in this house or me. He's attached to the house. So he'll come and visit and then he'll go back.
When I think of those grumpy grandpas, those grumpy uncles, I never had a grumpy grandpa. All my grandpas were just,
Oh, I did.
yeah, but I had a couple of like great uncles that were not my grandpa, but they were grandpas to others that were grumpy,
Right.
and it was almost like there would be this break where they were still grumpy. They were not changing, but it became an endearment
I was
almost.
going to say endearing. Yep. And that's kind of what happened with him.
Yeah.
So let me tell you a funny story. When I was finishing up and getting ready to sell the house, because this was in my name, it was my house. So when it came down to the end of it, I had to be the only one doing everything because, Daniel, the way we had to do it, we had to sell my house, move into his house. I had to buy a house because he already had a mortgage in his name. So it's like, we had to have it certain ways to make sure we could have a mortgage. And then he had to sell his house once we got moved. So at the end of the day, it was my house to manage and to sell and do all that stuff. So right when I was getting ready to sell it, I had made the new homeowner a new scent, like a little scent warmer. And I was looking out the back window at the backyard and I have my necrometer, which is like my spirit talker app on my phone. And he it came across, I'm in the backyard And that's what I was looking at the time. I was looking at the backyard and I was like, yep, I know. That was a huge point of contention with you, the backyard, us tearing out the backyard. And then I went to smell this little warmer that I made and it said, I like that scent. And I was, and like, I'm not talking about it. It's not watching me. Like, I like that scent. And I'm like, okay. Well, I go to leave and he goes, I'm alone. And I'm like, I know, but you can always come and visit, but this is where you stay. This is your home. I go to get in the car and it said, bitch.
It's still almost like that. I would almost find that very endearing, right? Like
Yes.
he's like, bitch, you're leaving me.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And it's like,
That's
I'm alone, bitch.
wow.
Like, we had such a good moment. We had a moment of sweetness. And as I was leaving, bitch,
Yeah.
okay, fuck you too then.
Uh, which he probably would have liked you saying more than "I love you too." You know,
Yes.
he would probably want you to be like, "Okay, she give me the middle finger, we're good." You know?
Yes, that's kind of how we got to. Like, I would go up there when he started kind of forgetting the boundaries. I'd go up there and be like, listen, listen, damn it, stop it. And I'd cuss. The kids would hear me cussing and screaming at him, and I'd walk out and I'd be like, oh, I'm just talking to him again. And they're like, okay. But like, I had to sleep in his room once because that was where our guest bedroom was. And he hated me in that room. He stood at the foot of the bed and watched me like all night long. I didn't sleep at all because I could feel him standing at the foot of the bed looking at me like, you said this is my room. You said that I had to stay in here. I stay in here. Now you're in my room. And I was like, dude, my husband's snoring. I needed a place to sleep. Like,
So,
so
did you
I
ask
moved.
him permission to sleep in his room, or did you just, out of
I
your
just,
pure drogginess, went to that room and he was like, "Bitch"?
yes, exactly. And so we actually ended up moving the guest bedroom out of that room and put it in another room because, like I said, the house was huge. We had rooms galore. So we moved that and we put it downstairs. And so, because at the time, Daniel had horrible sleep apnea and he was not taking care of it. And so he was snoring like a machine. It was horrible. And I have insomnia. And so if I wake up, I'm awake. I'm not going back to sleep. So
Right.
I moved I set that up so that way I could have somewhere to sleep and he would not bother me anymore. But then, jokes on me, he learned that he could manipulate the remote control light and he would turn the light on and off all night long.
I will say, I do have a bit of respect for his petty revenge.
He's very
You
petty.
know,
He's a
and he's
petty
like, no
bitch.
one's getting hurt right now. She's going to be tired all day, and I'm okay with
Yes, he
that.
and I was too. We laughed about it. I think one of my best memories in that house was it was all the kids and me. That room felt so good. And I always called it his sister's name's room because I think that's where she stayed when she would come and visit. And that's who I bought the house from. And she was lovely. She's absolutely a beautiful human being, inside and out. And that room always felt so good. So my husband was in there, all three kids and me, and we were talking, and I was working on a podcast and the light it started coming on and the more the kids giggled the more it went on and off and it was almost like it felt like he was enjoying it, he was laughing too.
That was his game with them.
Yes, and yes, and it was so playful and it got to the point where what was happening was more playful than scary. We had some scary moments, don't get me wrong, we had some terrifying moments, especially when he's like reaching for one of my daughters in the middle of the night, like, and she saw him. Like, we had some scary moments, but that when it got to the towards the end before we moved, it was playful. He was used to us, we were used to him. It was his form of interacting with us, and he was very sad. I could feel the energy shift back when we left to that emptiness, that stagnant. So it was sad to leave him, but I told him, I was like, you can come visit anytime.
You won him over,
I did. I'm
and,
very charming.
and then you left him. So the new people inside that house, they're going through hell.
I don't even well see the thing is there's no kids and it's almost like I think he's okay. I really think because there's no little kids and it's like a blended family. Like him and his mother lived in that house together. The people that bought the house for me are a husband and wife and then like a parent and then their son. So it's like multiple generational family living in that house again.
But
That's what it was before. So I think and I don't know. I don't know. I don't talk to them. I hope it's going well. Good luck.
Wish you know.
I wish you well,
Um,
everybody.
guys, so to the listener, Ashley's podcast is great. Sometimes she's solo, sometimes she has Daniel, sometimes she has guests on that has incredible encounters and stories and things they've
Mhm.
learned and experienced. Definitely check it out. I'll share all the links. I was a guest on your show one time, and I would
Yep.
love to find a way to do it again.
Come on.
I don't have a lot of encounters,
That's okay.
but I think one of the conversations that you and I had, and that I had with one of my famous psychic friends, and I'm not saying you're psychic or identify as that, but I think that when it comes to any kind of seeing and conversing and being open minded to ghosts or psychic abilities, there's always some kind of trauma behind that person. And it
Yeah.
reopens a different part of their mind that they were taught to close off as they got
Yeah.
to a certain age. I think that's why people say that babies and kids up until what, 3 years old, they're
Mhm.
staring off because they're probably seeing things that we can't see because they've not been taught that we're supposed to see those or talk about it. I just think all that is so interesting. One of the conversations I had with my friend Jeanette Lucas, who is a world known famous psychic, I told you about her.
Right.
She was like, after your trauma, you became very in touch with things. And there's been a few things happen. I'm like, this is it. Like, she's right. But I also shut myself off because my trauma is only 10 years old. And I know 10 years sounds like a long time when you talk about certain things, but there was 3 years of court and just,
Mm,
you know what I
what you
mean?
went through was another level of trauma.
Right. And so when
Yeah.
you think of like the 10 years of recovery, it seems like yesterday. And so I feel like where I'm at now, I'm finding myself allowing myself to be a little bit more vulnerable to things around me. And when
Yes.
I moved into this home a year ago after Cody and I broke up, this house is 100 years old.
Yeah.
And you and I actually I think it was off record, but you and I had a conversation when I moved into this house. I was like, I know there's something here.
I remember that.
Yeah. And I
Well,
want,
when I come up, I'll let you know.
yeah, I was going to say, like, I would love for us to converse on, and to the listener, if anyone has any kind of ideas on what kind of like episode on ghost gossip you would like for Ash and I to talk about, like I'm open to those ideas because I want to be a part of the show. Love the show. And I want to start open. I feel like I'm in a place where I can start opening my mind up more
Yeah.
and it be another part of good that I do, kind of like you did. Like you became a family member to this man who was alone in his afterlife in his home, right?
Yeah. He didn't have a wife. He didn't have kids. He had a mother and he had a sister, and he was really crotchety. So he kept a lot of people out.
Yeah.
And I honestly, I think, and I don't want to say it on the record, I'll tell you what I think later, but I think there's a reason why he was so closed off. And I think he felt like he couldn't be who he was. And that caused a lot of resentment in life. And I will tell you that the majority of my trauma comes from when I was 20 years old. And I am 41 this year. So that's years. And I just got to the point where I am comfortable being vulnerable. And it really was meeting Daniel and feeling safe again. And sometimes I don't feel completely safe still because we have other things that have gone on past 2 years that have really, I'll have to tell you about that too off record because I can't talk about it. But I know he's got me. I can cry. I can do this. I can do that. My dog is back there scratching, making a ton of noise. But
I didn't hear him, and that's okay. We're pet friendly around here, so
oh,
no.
perfect. But yeah, once I was able to feel like I could be myself again and feel like no matter what kind of moment I was having or what kind of day I was having, knowing that he was still going to love me and not use that as a form of manipulation to make me fear that he was going to leave me, threaten that. I realized, okay, this man's got me. And so now let me tell you one thing. Me looking at this man saying, hey, I'm possibly a psychic medium, and he's just staring at me like, okay. So supportive.
Yeah, he's amazing. And I
Yes.
love that little cliffhanger that you left because one of the conversations you and I had off record the other night, I guess last night, is I still want to share survivor stories. And so, one thing that I want to do is have those designated times to have those bonus episodes of survivor stories. And so, you and I are going to be scheduling something very soon to take a dive into that. And I can't wait for it. And I hope you know, and I'm sure that you do know, that I fell in love with you and your family the first time that I ever met you via Zoom. Um, I've always considered you a friend since day one, even if we've not met. Modern technology, I I'm honored that you would share some of these things about you and your trauma with me and my platform. That it's one of those things where it is a reminder that I'm doing things right, that I'm being
You
the
are.
person that I want to be,
You are.
and I think that we all need those moments. And
Yes.
thank you for that.
Well, thank you for giving and providing such a safe environment to feel comfortable enough to share.
Absolutely.
I love you.
I just for you. Okay, so listener, it's time for my favorite part, which is I'm going
Oh
to put
boy.
a rapid fire question from the Ish Bowl. And you know how rapid fire is? You just say the first thing that comes out and we converse. There's no right or wrong.
Okay.
What is the pettiest thing you think that you've ever been mad about? I
Oh
feel like
God.
we've had some good ones.
Oh God. When I worked for the court, yeah, I don't work there anymore. I worked there for 15 years, federal court system. I was the pettiest thing that I ever got mad about at work was we were supposed to be on a rotation for receipt writing, and it was very intrusive. I mean, like it would interrupt your whole day. Whatever you were doing, you had to stop and write a receipt for somebody at the window. Well, they were supposed to be on a rotation after the cashier left, and there was like four of us, and there was one girl that was not doing it, and I got so mad. And I can't remember what I did, but I remember hearing her go, "Now that shit is petty, Ashley." And it was so insignificant, but because it was happening all the time, and it was like I was the only one having to stop what I was doing and do it. I was done. I was done. And I'm sure that's probably not the most petty thing I've done. I can be a pretty petty patty.
So there is a live that Jeannie and I did the other night about petty revenge and the
Mm.
things that you would do to like coworkers, just it's things that wouldn't get you fired. But for example, there was this lady, and I always try to be respectful. However,
Right.
she's not. So here's
Oh,
the truth. She had been divorced against her religion. She loved gluttony, apparently, due to her health and body size against her religion.
got it.
Child out of wedlock, daughter has a child out of wedlock. She's married to a new man. They have pictures on her desk of them together, and they celebrate all of this. And I had a picture of me and Cody on my desk. We were on a cruise at a lovely high-end dinner, fully clothed. Like we were not even in speedos or shirtless because we were on a cruise. Like we were button up, tie kind of thing. We were not, like we were just side by side having a lovely picture together. It was a lovely memory. And I get notified from my boss that my picture is offensive.
Mm,
So the
mm,
person who's been divorced, the person who celebrates abundance of gluttony, um, the person who is wearing different fabrics is offended. I would find little things to do. And one of my favorites is on your mouse, if you put a piece of tape right here,
mm. It won't work.
and so you change the battery, you call IT, you've spent 3 hours trying to figure out just to find out there's tape, and just little things like she needed her chair a certain way because of her size. And I'm not making fun of that, but she needed it to be tilted and high enough. And if it was too low, she couldn't get out of it.
So you go move it.
Yeah. So it was very low every day.
Oh, poor thing.
Bless her heart.
No, I'm telling you, I could be petty. I could be petty, but the only person I had to be petty with is Daniel now because I don't work anymore. I am my own boss and coworker. So he's the one I'm the pettiest with. But I mean, there's a laundry list. I brain dump him after I do it. I'm just like, what? I move on to the next.
I'm gonna have to take note that when I have Daniel on the show, I want to ask him, what is the pettiest thing someone's done to you?
Just ask him, hey, what's the pettiest thing Ashley's done to you? And there's probably quite a few. He probably has a list. I did. I woke him up one night. He was snoring so bad, and I had a pillow. And he said this is the only time he's ever been scared. I hadn't slept in days because of his ass, and I had the pillow, and I said, if you don't fucking stop snoring, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was borderline psychotic that night. Oh yeah, he was about to die. He didn't. He's alive and well. Yes. Yeah, I can send proof of life. He's downstairs somewhere. I just heard him a second ago. He ordered dinner. So, but yeah, it's so funny because like you say yours, and I'm like, that is so good. I need to take notes, but I have no coworkers anymore. It's just me and the dogs.
Well, we we'll find someone.
Yeah.
There'll be a there'll be someone that pisses you off. And
Oh, can I tell you one thing that I do?
okay.
So I live across the street from my sister. Okay, my sister is a lot some days. She's a lot. I love her. I love her so much, but she's a lot. So some days I'll put my car in the garage and I close the garage and I close all the blinds so she thinks I'm not home. And I know that's not bad, but for her, sometimes it just ruins her day.
Uh-huh.
Are you home? I don't answer.
Nope. No,
Mm-mm,
I'm so sorry. I was in this building that got no reception.
none. I'm like hiding, telling the dogs, like, don't get me away.
One of my favorite things that I did is when I lived in an apartment community, there was a neighbor that lived across from me, and we didn't really care much for each other. So I would take the wreath off her door, and the person that lived beside me, I would switch their wreaths. So that way, when she comes home and she's unlocking the door, she's like, "Wait, this doesn't look familiar." And she's looking around. She's like, why did this person steal my wreath and put it on their door? Like, obviously, I'm going to see it. I would love to rearrange people's floor mats. And so when I went from not living in apartments and living in houses, I had a neighbor that we were fun and fine, but mostly just acquaintances. But
Yeah.
it was just something that I would, honey, I drank and I was young at one point and would do silly things. But she was very OCD, like everything, like her porch every day. I would love when I would see them leave, I would go and rearrange her furniture on the porch. So the chair and the tables that were on this side, I would switch to this side. And then the long lounge chairs that were over on this side, I would switch to this side. So they would come home and you could see them like walk into the front door and they're like,
An
so,
OCD person, they know.
and just so they can't figure it out.
So this was before cameras were so prevalent like they are now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Can't do this shit
I
now.
would, but you know what? Damn it. I would have went viral.
You would have gone viral. I will say Daniel might end up with a piece of tape on his mouse now.
Okay, record it because people cannot figure it out. Make sure it's the clear strip. They can't figure out that they'll push the button. They'll take the battery out. They'll blow the. So funny. It is so funny.
Oh, I'm getting ideas. I'm getting because I know I'm petty. I'm a pettiest, but even Daniel told me he's like that was really petty. I'm like I know, I don't care, but I can't remember.
Okay, the weekend that we hang out, poor Daniel,
Oh
and
God,
sometimes I like to do some petty stuff to the kids too. So,
they're probably I'm pretty petty with them too. But I'm mom. I'm tired. Okay, I'm
you
tired.
know, like, damn it. Ashley, thank you so much for being with me. You've been a part of every podcast season and thing that I've done, and I just really appreciate your love and support and the friendship that we've made. And I can't wait to be petty with you, and I can't wait to continue to hear what we attempt to survive.